Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with AzChats episode 53. Not that it really matters, you know, it's not as if they're sequential. They're only sequential as in numbers, but topic-wise, always a different topic. So you could watch number 53, you could watch number 3. It wouldn't make any difference. Anywho, if you're relatively new to AzChats, podcasty type of a vid, blah blah blah, more audio than visual, blah blah blah, fruity language, blah blah blah. How's that for a shortened beginning for you? No, still 30 odd seconds. Okay, so the topic of today's video is quite provocative, faux show, and it's not clickbait, because this is a legitimate question, and when we go into the AzChats, you'll see how legitimate this question is. I wonder how many people post a comment down below purely off the title. After reading your title, I have come to the conclusion that... You know, they haven't actually listened to the content of the video. But, you know, who cares? Thanks for the view. Right, so, yeah, as it says, is Warlords of Draenor actually a huge success? Now, this is a very kind of controversial title. Of course it is. Because we have to look at this, or we, who are probably the vast majority of us that are coming into this video, are looking at this from a specific angle. Okay? We're looking at this from the angle of a player within the World of Warcraft. We're not looking at it from the point of view of an employee working for Blizzard Entertainment, working for Activision Blizzard, a board member, yada yada yada. Now, the reason why I think this question is very, very important indeed is because it has serious ramifications and serious consequences as to how the World of Warcraft can go potentially forward and what that spells for its subscription base. Now, another reason why this title, of course, is very, very provocative is the fact that when Blizzard announced their Q1 figures this year, what they did announce is that the World of Warcraft had dropped its subscription numbers, of course, from 10 million, which it had managed to go right back up to when Warlords of Draenor was released, all the way down to 7.1 million. The biggest drop-off in subscribers they'd ever seen in a quarter, by a colossal amount. It was by even an additional 120% more than the biggest loss they'd ever received, which I think was about 1.3 million back in Mists of Pandaria. So to lose 2.9 million subscribers in Q1 of 2015 points as if there is trouble in paradise. And it was very easy to see why. We don't have to go over too much here, because I think we all know, especially if you listen to this video, we're all players of the World of Warcraft, we all kind of know what's gone on. But it was very easy to see why people had left the game. Content wasn't there. Content that was there was dreary and boring. A lot of stuff just constantly getting rehashed. There wasn't anything really fun or exciting to do once you'd gone through the leveling up procedure, which I thought was really good fun. I thought 6.0 had oodles of potential, and I was very excited about where the World of Warcraft, where Warlords of Draenor was going to go. Sadly, it went right down the shitter. Which is not exactly where I had it planned on going. I had all these grandiose ideas about, ooh, in 6.1 we'll go to Farallon, and maybe even Ogre Island, and then they're going to throw a curveball in and say, not only are you going to Ogre Island, but you can now roll ogres as a playable race in the World of Warcraft. I had all these grandiose ideas going around in my head, getting a little bit wet between the legs, and yeah, none of them came to pass. It was just like, do you want to do some more AP dailies? No? Tough shit, because that's all we got. It was kind of like that, which is pretty kind of like depressing stuff, really. And so you would have thought with nearly 30%, 1 in 3 people almost, leaving the World of Warcraft in Q1, that would actually spell monumental disaster for the World of Warcraft. You would be wrong. You would legitimately be wrong. Although it seems like a colossal loss in figures, and it definitely seems as if there is substantial problems within Blizzard and within the World of Warcraft and within trying to connect to its community and within trying to give you the community playable, interesting, fun content that will allow them to say subscribe to the game, because obviously when you're subscribed you're paying money to be subscribed, which is all good for Blizz. You would think that some serious changes would have needed to have been done to stem the flow of subscription losses, but no, because financially there wasn't much of an impact at all. In actual fact, Blizzard announced in that same quarter call, sounds like something out of the Hunger Games, doesn't it? Q1 2015 quarter call, Katniss 17. It sounds like that. But what they did announce financially at the quarter call was actually that it'd been very stable indeed. Revenue in the World of Warcraft had been very stable. And also, thanks to price increases in certain countries, and also they credited a lot of the good financial news to the fact that there was a very strong uptake on value-added services. So what value-added services are they in the World of Warcraft? Well, they are the microtransactions all the way through to things like race change, server change, and all that kind of stuff. I'd be very intrigued to know how many people changed races, how many people paid money to change races when they brought in the new character models. And also, when the new Belfs came along, I wonder how many people switched over to Belf. Maybe they'd switched another race, maybe they'd switch back. If you are one of said people, I would like it if you shared that information. No judgment from me, just interested. But I'd like you to share that information in the comments down below. So, with that kind of information given to us, we are at odds with Blizzard Entertainment as players, because the money side of matters and the business side of matters, they're happy with. Because they are still making excellent money, even though they've lost nearly 30% of their subscription base. The money's actually very good. It was up on this time last year, which you kind of would expect due to the fact that 5.4 was with us for such a considerable period of time. It was up on last year, which was a huge thing. And of course, they'd had this huge drop-off. So we look at it from a subscription point of view, and we say, as a community, oh shit, stuff's going wrong. Shit's going wrong, shit's hitting the fan, game's falling apart, game's dying. And yet, the reality of the matter is, it's not at all. We flip over to the business side of things, and everyone in Blizzard is there going, woohoo! And throwing their hands up in the air and rubbing their mitts together and saying, what's my bonus, boss? What's my bonus? You know, oh, those profit shares. Oh, they're going to go in really well. All those shares that I have in the company as well. Oh, they're going up in price. Because that's that side of matters. And sure, there's going to be a meeting there saying, yeah, we lost 3 million people. Yeah, the money stayed fine. We lost 3 million people. What can we do? Can we do anything to get them back? And it wasn't ever, seemingly coming from Blizzard, that language when they addressed the community. Whenever they addressed stuff, it was always loss of numbers as expected. And one of the great things, and I say great things because I always find this quite funny, to be honest with you, when they announce these quarter call figures, and more often than not in recent times, numbers have been going down. It always seems to have this little tag on the end when they talk about subscription losses. They always seem to go, and primarily from the East. Subscription losses are primarily from the East. Which is quite funny because they've said this so many times now. I'm just amazed there's even one person in China playing. Or there's Chow in Korea that's just like, I'm still here. I'm still playing. You know, I'm paying $5 million a year to play this fucking thing, but I'm still playing. It's not like that. The way that they've said the majority of the losses are from the East. So many times now, it's quite funny. But what we also have to understand is, if this is legit, if this is actually true, and there's no reason to doubt that, if this is actually true, it would also go a long way to explain why the finances are still so solid indeed. And the reason why I say that is because most of you should know this by now. I have mentioned it before in previous videos. In the Far East, they pay by the hour to play the World of Warcraft. They do not pay a monthly subscription fee. So Blizzard would legitimately class somebody as a subscriber if they logged on to the World of Warcraft in Beijing for 1 hour, 1 month, and paid their, let's just say for argument's sake, 13 cents for that 1 hour. Because that's relatively how much it would probably translate to in China, based off the economics. So if they paid for one single solitary month of Warcraft in a single month, January, February, March, of that first quarter, they would class that as a subscriber. Whereas you and I are paying a whole lot of different. You know, I'm paying £10 a month, you're paying $15 a month, or, you know, or 12 euros a month, whatever it may be, whatever currency translates to the country that you're in, we're paying that in the West per month. This is obviously directed at the Western audience. Not leaving you out, Eastern audience. This is directed at the Western audience. So you get my drift here. So if they lose that kind of person, there's not going to be a substantial hit on the actual fiscal numbers. And especially if it's being compensated as well by the price increases, which we've had, not only in subscription fees in quite a lot of countries, but also in paid services in quite a lot of countries. Some people could argue that it's tax related, but the fact that the quarter earnings announced that the actual revenue that they got from this had gone in some way to compensate for the loss of these numbers suggests to me not really actually at all. Otherwise it would have been gobbled up in tax or compensated in tax. But no, they physically announced that the increase in paid services and subscription fee in countries actually managed to offset some of the losses of subscribers. So that doesn't sound like a tax issue to me as well. And also in Q1, you have to look at what was kind of like what went on then. Like I said, we've got the paid services business that happened, transfers, faction transfers, race transfers, server transfers. I know that I myself did some of that because I moved my character from Alliance over to Horde to a different server, so that in itself cost about £40. And then when we had issues with the guild because some people left, we shifted another server because we were looking for more people. And then when we decided not to raid anymore, I then went back to the Alliance on another server. So even me, there you go, I am part of the problem. Even me, in wanting to go play with friends, ended up probably forking out the best part of £100 just on that alone. And that was in Q1 of this year. So you can understand how paid services can very quickly add up. Now, moving into Q2, this is where things are getting very interesting because once more, we are looking at this from a subscriber point of view. We have been stuck with some very, very dreary content. We've heard lie after lie from Blizzard, hype after hype, crap after crap from them, and the content in the game right now, outside of raiding, is simply not even close to good enough. Not even close, not even remotely close to good enough. And 6.2, they tried to hype it up so much, and it's pretty much been a turkey. It hasn't been received well by the WoW community. Tanarn Jungle is one big AP grind or one big rep grind. Those are pretty much your only two options if you're in Tanarn. There's nothing really that you can do outside of that that's exciting. Yeah, you got a few rares, and yeah, you got a few treasures to find, but obviously once you found the treasures, they're finite. You find them, it's done. You can't find them again. It doesn't start to hide them all over the place once more and you have to go out and get it. No. And rares, well, rares, inverted commas, they spawn every hour. Some you kill, you can't kill and get the credit for it being a rare for another 24 hours. Others, maybe. So it's not exactly if it's a fun experience in Tanan Jungle. Once you've either done your AP grinding or your rep grinding, there is pretty much little to nothing for you to do there. So you have to look at alternatives. And the shipyard, was the shipyard any good? No, it wasn't any good at all. It was useless. It was just another command table. Blizzard saw that, and within a couple of weeks of patch 6.2 decided to even shift it into the town hall. That's how much of a command table only thing shipyards really proved to be. Then you have a look at time walking, piss easy. Then you look at mythic dungeons, mythic in name only. So the content of 6.2 is absolutely dour. But we are now getting to a situation where in about 2 weeks' time or so, we're going to get the Q2 2015 quarter call, and Katniss Everdeen is going to be called back up again. She's going to cry, and then other people are going to save her. She's not going to do anything, and then at the end, everyone calls her a fucking hero. I just don't get it. Sorry, I started to vent my frustrations about the Hunger Games. Yeah, so in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to get the Q2 figures out. And there's already been a slight leak on the Q2 figures. Not in regards to subscription numbers for the World of Warcraft, but we're talking about fiscal investment here. A website called investors.com, which kind of reports on, you know, all things business, are actually reporting that Activision Blizzard are going to announce a bumper Q2 of this year, which is actually going to go above their analytical predictions of 100 by 128.6%. What? Now, this is Activision Blizzard as a whole. This is not specifically the World of Warcraft. But with Activision as a whole, if this information proves to be true, and in a couple of weeks' time when they do announce their full quarter call and they say, look, you know, we have actually gone above analytical expectations by 128.6%, that's massive. Absolutely massive. So what else can we look at relating to the World of Warcraft to see if anything there fits together? Well, on the 7th of April, which fell into Q2 of this year, Blizzard launched the WoW token. Now, this was the token where you could actually pay physical money to buy a token, a 30-day game time token, which would go up on the auction house and sell for money. In essence, Blizzard got control of the economy of the World of Warcraft because they are dictating the price which it sells for. Now they've said, yeah, no, you know, it depends. If people are buying it, then it's going to, you know, go up in price because supply and demand. If people aren't buying it, it's going to go down in price. But as we've seen, prices have remained very, very fixed indeed. Blizzard can't allow something like this to drop and be devalued. They can't do that, because this is an absolute money-making scheme for them. If people are happy to pay $20 for a WoW token and then resell it on the auction house for 20, 30, 40,000 gold, they're going to continue to do so. That's what they're going to do, because they are happy with the amount of gold that's generated for them. All this talk about we're trying to give you a safe environment to purchase gold within the World of Warcraft, away from gold sellers which hack and all that kind of stuff. There's only a small proportion of truth in that. What they're doing is they're actually tapping into a multi-million-pound industry which in itself can generate them millions and millions and millions of dollars, because that's what it does. So they have now grabbed physical control of the economy within the World of Warcraft, because they are dictating the price of that WoW token. And the ramifications from us as a community is, let's say I have 200, 300,000 gold in the World of Warcraft, and I am contemplating leaving WoW because I'm not happy with the content of the game. Suddenly the WoW token comes along, I've got plenty of disposable income internally within the game, and I say, well, you know, I could unsub, but I'm just going to buy a 30-day token instead. I don't therefore have to physically pay out any money for that, so I'm technically playing the game for free now. just using my in-game gold. It's so easy to generate gold in the World of Warcraft. I mean, really easy to generate gold within the World of Warcraft. When I do my Sunday mass streams, we find that when I go through the raids that I do, I come out with 6,000-7,000 gold just through that. And that's like Dragon Soul 25 heroic, Farlands 25 heroic, ICC, Throne of the Four Winds 25 heroic, Mogushan Vault 10 normal. You know, all these kind of, when you tot up all the gold that drops from the boss and all the gear that you can just vendor, all the trash items that you can vendor, you make a lot of gold. Gold is so easy to come by in WoW. Then you've got all your follower missions that throw gold at you, etc, etc, etc. I can passively make 5,000-6,000 gold a week, and that's just passively, just through sending followers out, or just by doing ship missions for gold, or ship missions for gold, whichever one you prefer. Just doing the odd this and that, and then I'll do my Sunday mass stream and add another 5, 6, 7,000 on top of that. So all in all, I can make 10 grand without batting an eyelid a week in the World of Warcraft. I do that for 4 weeks. That's a monthly token to be purchased. So I'm technically playing for free. But there's always the flip side to the coin. What you don't see when you purchase that token, of course, is the fact that somebody bought it. And that token is actually costing more money to buy, $20, than it would if you purchased a subscription fee. So Blizzard are quite happy to throw gold in the game now, left, right and centre. So people say, well, you know, I'll continue to play for free then by buying this WoW token. And the people who are selling the token and getting gold for it are happy with the amounts of gold that they're getting from it, that they're continuing to purchase the token for a raised price. So every person that they lose to the WoW token for Blizzard is a godsend. It's a godsend because they are now making more money off that person not paying their subscription fee to play, but instead buying the WoW token, because that WoW token that they buy from the auction house actually costs the person that purchased it more than a subscription fee. So the WoW token, and I've always predicted this, I've said this, I think is actually going to cause subscriber numbers to rise up in Q2 of this year, because I think there's going to be a large proportion of people that just like, I don't want to pay my sub anymore because there's nothing really good to do in the game, nothing fun, nothing interesting to get my teeth into, but I don't mind just using my surplus amount of gold because it's so easy to come by. And then what else have we had in Q2 that came out? Well, we had the Blizzard store mount as well. In actual fact, very cynically indeed, when Blizzard announced the Q1 quarter core, which we saw the 2.9 million sub losses from the game, within 48 hours of that announcement, they released the mount, which had just been on the back burner. It's been in the game for a few months, but they hadn't released it. They released that out. It was such a cynical way of doing it. It just screamed of, fuck it, money. That's what it screamed. It didn't scream anything like, you know, this is a great mount that we're legitimately wanting to put out there. It's taken, you know, time and effort to make, and it's going up on the Blizzard store, blah, 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 blah. None of that whatsoever. It was just like, sub losses, you know, we need to offset those sub losses. We have had paid services. We have had, you know, other things which are compensated for that. Now, we're going to have WoW token and Blizzard store mount to start offsetting potential losses. So, it kind of, those pieces of information actually tie in very correctly, or very sort of, you know, logically, to the fact that Blizzard are most likely going to be announcing bumper profits in a couple of weeks' time. So if they're announcing bumper profits across the board, you know, I'm sure Hearthstone's generating a whole lot of money with its expansion, you know, BlackRock stuff, and then of course with the new heroes that you can buy. That game must be absolutely throwing money into the coffers. Heroes of the Storm's come out properly now. The prices on the store for Heroes of the Storm are ludicrous. I mean, they're so high, it's ridiculous. But if people are purchasing, it doesn't matter for them. They don't care. If people are buying, then they're prepared to pay that sort of money. And then with the World of Warcraft, WoW token, Blizzard store mount. So it all makes sense. It all kind of ties in together and says to people that the amount of money that we're generating from these games is actually contributing to us going over our expectations, our analytical expectations, by 128.6%. So in essence, what Blizzard have done is they have actually adapted their business model to be no longer reliant on subscription fees per se, due to the fact that they now have so many other things within the World of Warcraft which require a payment structure behind it. WoW token, the Blizzard store, and of course, what seems to be going really, really well for them as well, paid services. Faction transfers, race transfers, realm transfers. And of course, a lot of those kind of things are preying on people's misery, which is really sad to see, because again, it's another cynical ploy. Servers are falling apart because people are leaving the game, because millions of people are going, servers are dying out. People that love World of Warcraft and want to stay on the World of Warcraft and want to be a part of it and want to play, what options do they have available to them? Well, we saw that these whole realm merge stuff, they don't work. They don't work at all. So people leave servers. They go to more populated servers. How do they do that? They've got to pay to do it. They've got to pay to do it. And if they have to faction transfer as well to get more people, then, boom. Then that's even more money for them. So kind of Blizzard are almost profiteering off misery right now. It's a very harsh thing to say, but it's true. They're probably making a lot of money from people trying to get back into community together. They're making money from the fact that people are saying, well, I actually wouldn't be subscribed to the World of Warcraft, but due to the fact I can purchase the WoW token here, sure. Why not? I'll use my in-game gold. I'm not paying any money out. So they're profiteering from that as well. So they seem to be profiteering from the misery of World of Warcraft fans. Because from our side of the fence again, if we jump back onto where we are, all we see is millions of people leaving the game. And if they do come out in a couple of weeks' time with the Q2 figures and they announce bumper profits but announce further losses in subscribers, and I think that would be massive, because I think that would be huge. If Blizzard turned around and said, actually, World of Warcraft has lost another 200,000 people and it's down to 6.9 million, but they still announce bumper profits company-wide of 128.6%, and World of Warcraft has contributed to that. If they say, yeah, figures are up for WoW because of paid services, i.e. WoW token, etc., etc., Blizzard store, the store mount, yada, 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 then that is just purely profiteering off the misery of the customer base. Because if the WoW token can't stem the losses within the World of Warcraft, if the WoW token can't raise up, and this is an artificial rise as well, it's not... If they announce subscriber numbers to have gone back up in Q2 and they announce that the WoW token has been a roaring success, then those rises in subscribers, they're not legitimate at all. We now have a very fabricated look at the way that the World of Warcraft is subscribed to. Because if they announce that they go up from 7.1 to 7.8 million, for argument's sake, or just to round it up, 8 million, let's say it goes back up to 8 million subscribers, those people are purely subscribed because they are, in essence, free to play and somebody else is paying for their subscription fee. They are most likely people that would have left the game. And if people can return to the World of Warcraft because they're just like, well, yeah, I'm not prepared to pay money to play this, but I'm not subscribed right now, and I have a surplus of in-game gold. Yeah, sure. I'll use my in-game gold. I'll use my in-game gold to go back to the World of Warcraft, because I'm not paying money. Somebody, of course, paid for that token. More money than their original subscription would have cost them. So once more, it is profiteering off the misery of a community that is really down right now, and it's really depressed right now because of the level of content that we've got, the level of apathy which has certainly gone into the Warlords of Draenor, the announcements which never came to pass, and then all the bullshit interviews which we've had recently which just go left, right, centre, just contradict each other. And if they're all contradicting each other, then how can we take any of them as genuine now? How can we take Ian Hazzakostas' interview with Law where he was answering the Q&A, how can we take that as a legitimate, genuine, you know, kind of we're a wee bit sorry? When you got Corey Stockton a couple of weeks later contradicting everything that he said in that interview. Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? Are all of them just, you know? So we're in a very difficult situation as subscribers. So this also has a knock-on effect, and I'm going to round things up relatively quick now, but this is going to have a knock-on effect for the future as well, because if Blizzard can get away with this level of content, or lack thereof of content, or engaging content, and if they can just constantly rehash stuff, and Ian Hazzakostas himself said something which made me cringe in his Q&A, where he said, we're looking at technology that's just going to scale up dungeons throughout the course of a life of an expansion, which to me just screams, fine, we'll release 5 dungeons in an expansion, and then we'll just keep on topping them up every patch with a slight increase in gear and a slight increase in difficulty, to try and make it relevant again for the relative patches. That just makes me sick in my mouth. We want new, we want fresh, we want exciting contents. And if Blizzard can get away with this level of content and come out with maximising profits, then what incentive do they have as a company to even bother to try and give the community what they want? What incentive do they have as a company to even say, well, you know, we really do need to start looking at our subscription base again. We really need to look at looking after these people and giving them some genuine options in content, and not just saying you've got AP dailies or rep grinds or raiding, and if you don't like any of that, go fuck yourself. Which is what we have at the moment. We don't have those options available to us. We don't have that exciting level of content available that we go, ooh, I'm not in the mood for AP grinding today. I'm going to go off and do this instead. We just don't have that in WoW anymore. But there's got to come a point. There has to come a point anyway where if we were to still lose and lose and lose World of Warcraft subscribers, it would actually hit a plateau. Because there is a level that it just won't go past at this present moment in time. There is a level where it will hit and people are happy to do with whatever's in the game. That number of people. We don't know if it's this 7.1 million right now. We don't know if it's actually going to be 6 million or 5 million or 3 million or 2 million. And obviously if it's somewhere in the latter, in that 2-3 sort of million, then Blizzard are in a lot of trouble. Because the more subscribers they lose organically anyway, you would think the less revenue is available to be generated, and the less chance of paid services or WoW tokens or Blizzard store mounts there is available for people to buy with least people. But we'll never know that until the World of Warcraft figures plateau. So the answer is Warlords of Draenor actually a great success or huge success? Well, from our point of view as players, no. It's been a miserable expansion full of what we view as broken promises, broken ideas, contents which has never come to pass, boring contents, rehashed contents, yada yada yada. But sadly, from Activision Blizzard's point of view, Warlords of Draenor has been a huge success. Financially, it's been brilliant for them. It's done great numbers, and in actual fact, it looks like it's going to announce bumper profits in Q2 in a couple of weeks' time. And that is massively, massively depressing. So if you haven't slit your wrists or blown your brains out or topped yourself with pills, and I never advocate doing any of that, love yourself people, please do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook and all social media. Those links are down in the description box below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.